Hello and welcome to the season's debut episode of the Drew Roff Show alongside Purdue soccer head coach Drew Roff. I'm the team's communications director, Charlie Healy. Drew, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. How was your summer?
Great, yeah. Very excited to be back, but it was a good, restful summer.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround from the spring season, but the team began preseason practice last week, five days of practice. What are your initial thoughts on the team?
So far, so good. I really like what I see so far. Preseason always you have to evaluate what you have, and you have to assess individual players while you're also putting the team together. So it's always exciting. We have a group of 8 freshmen like we do, 1 transfer student athlete. So you want to evaluate that talent and kind of see how far along they are, who's ready to step in and help right away. But also you have to put together your team and get the structure right and get everybody on the same page. So a lot of work in a short period of time, but the part that I like about just playing 3 months ago, I feel like a lot of the things are still fresh. I feel like when you go 9 months or a year without from your last real game, it's easy to kind of forget some of those moments. But I feel like the good moments and the bad, a lot of them are still fresh in our minds. So with the veteran team, we're able to kind of talk about those things and get those corrected before this season starts.
Absolutely, and that veteran team contains 10 seniors, 10 of 11 starters from just 4.5 months ago are back. How much has that helped this early preseason go?
That's been huge. I think this is the most experienced roster that we've ever had with 10 seniors and several upperclassmen that are contributors, several that are in the starting lineup. So it makes a huge difference when you go over things in preseason. As I mentioned, it's not a long preseason. It's pretty short, and you have to get a lot of work done in a short period of time. So when you're just kind of reinforcing concepts and ideas that your players have been over time and time again, it allows you to kind of make sure that you're solid in those areas, but then you can move forward and start focusing on other things. So it's just a better starting place is what we have now with so many veterans, and we don't have to spend a whole day on individual and small group defending. Those are some concepts that they've seen and they've been around, and working with your back four, once again, is something that takes a lot of organization. So we'll certainly spend time on it, but we don't have to, spend so much time that it takes away from some of the other parts of the game. So I'd have a group that's seen the film and they've been in the big games, things like that. It just makes everything go a little bit smoother, and the young players are ready to step in, and we can kind of focus a little more of our attention on them and kind of see what we need to do to get them ready, because our older players are really well schooled by this point.
Yeah, definitely. In a normal year, you're playing a couple spring matches. This past year, obviously, you played a full competition season in the spring. It still ended about the same time, but does that impact things, the fact that it was a full slate in the spring with full contact competition as opposed to exhibition as you prepare for August?
Yeah, I think it does. It was obviously an incredibly unique year in every way. Very challenging, to say the least, but we were excited to be able to play, the games that we did play, and played a very competitive schedule, played some really good soccer. But what I'm excited about now is that this feels so much more normal. We have non-conference games to kind of see what your team needs and see the strengths and weaknesses before jumping straight into Big Ten play, which Big Ten play, everybody very familiar with each other and things like that. Non-conference allows you to kind of do the things that you like to do. Of course, you do a little homework on your opponents, but it's really about getting your team ready and getting them prepared for Big Ten. So to have that opportunity and have our players experience what it's like to be on college campus in the fall and play is just so different. So I feel like our freshmen last year did a really nice job dealing with the circumstances, but I don't think it was really conducive for them to be at their best. And I feel like with the 3 months off, we don't have a lot of contact with them during those 3 months. So you kind of wonder, okay, how are they going to come back, and are those sophomores going to look like sophomores, even though their freshman year wasn't ideal as far as development. But I've been very pleased with our sophomore class. I think the challenging year, they still got a lot out of it, and I feel like that time away was maybe a little time to kind of regroup and come back. And I was a little afraid, how much would it look like having 2 freshman classes, but I feel like our sophomores have really stepped up. They look more confident, and that little time off, I think, was really good for them. And now they get to look forward to a real season, in a real, in the fall. And I think they're going to really take a step forward, which is huge for our program. We've got some key players in that class.
Yeah, absolutely. And those current sophomores made a big impact last year as freshmen as well. So that'll be interesting to see how they morph into a regular year now. But talk about this regular year. It begins with 2 exhibition matches. Milwaukee on Wednesday, Marquette on Saturday, both at Folk Field. What are you looking to see from your team in these 2 games?
Well, I think every season any coach wants to make sure that they are defensively sound and organized. I think the part of the game that you just need to have early on is just that stability, that structure, and then as the season progresses, and players bring their individual creativity and things of that nature, those are things that develop over time. But if you're not organized from the start, then you're not going to show very well. So we want to make sure we all know our roles, whether we're pressing as a unit or whether our back four, how they work together, and just keeping our lines connected and everybody knowing their basic roles. So really just want good organization, good discipline, good structure, and then get a chance to look at some players. This is a situation where we're going to play several players. You don't want, especially the freshmen, you don't want their first experience on Folk Field to be on August 19th, the first real match. So we're looking to get some players some time and have them have the opportunity to get that experience and then show what they can do. So we have such a competitive team. We have 30 good players. So it's very crucial that I have another way to kind of evaluate and assess players, and that's by getting some game time. So these exhibitions are going to be great for us. Obviously, anytime we can play on Folk, it's just it's a lot of fun for our players. But we've got work to do. A couple really good sides. A couple teams that have had a lot of success over the years. So really nice test for us to see where we're at. And but it's still preparation, and our goal is to make sure that by the 19th we're as well prepared as possible. And these games are a huge part of that. Yeah,
definitely. And looking forward also to having fans out at Folk Field this week too, which will be a little change from last season when we just had family and friends. But it'd be great to get out as a team, and after a week of competitive, spirited team practice out and facing another opponent. Finally, on Saturday, you announced to the team the coaching staff selected 14 captains.
Yes.
I'll let you tell us who they are and what stood out about those 4 seniors.
Sure. Well, our senior captains, we have 4 captains this year, and very deserving of that. We've got Maya Lambert, Sarah Griffith, Marisa Bova, and Teagan Jones. Maya and Sarah Griffith, Maya Lambert, Sarah Griffith were our captains this past year. They helped us through a very difficult time. A lot of communication with the coaching staff and with the players, and a lot of times, they're kind of the go-between in a lot of situations, just whether it's Zoom calls or things getting organized. So they did an amazing job, and they were 2 players that we're happy to have back in those roles. Sarah Griffith obviously is just an outstanding player. She's improved every single year that she's been here. She's put in the work. Maya's a great leader back there. She helps with our back line and helps keep us organized, and just been a very, very solid player for us for several years. The 2 new captains would be Marisa Bova and Teagan Jones, and really excited for them. Some opportunities for them to step up in the leadership role. Marisa Bova has been starting goalkeeper for the last couple of years, and once again she's put in all the work needed to continue to progress, and she's someone who's really bought into the program and has really taken ownership in her development, which is something we always ask, and just say that development's a 2-way street. We're going to do everything we can to, provide you the resources and the guidance to continue to get better and be successful, but you have to, give us your best, and she's someone who just gives her best every single day. So excited for her to have a big year this year. I'm expecting big things from her. The last one is Teagan Jones, and Teagan is one of those lead by example types, but we have a lot of players that lead by example. I think what separates Teagan is just, she's had to, really work for everything that she's gotten here. Nothing was really given to her, and she's just, once again, consistently showed up, gone to work every single day, whether it's in the weight room, on the soccer field, takes coaching well, and once again, really takes ownership in her development. And, a few players that I've coached have really continued to progress as much year to year, and she went from, a role player her first couple of years to someone that we hope would take that step. We weren't sure, and now she's an integral part, an indispensable part of our back line, someone who can get forward in the attack and create from that, left back position. And I've never seen, a player cover more ground than Teagan, and she just keeps going and going and going, and she can handle that workload because she's prepared herself for that. So just mentally tough, physically tough kid, and just those 4 players are just absolute tremendous ambassadors for our program. They represent Purdue soccer. So fun to work with because you know how invested they are. And, the great role models for the younger players. It's kind of like, as coaches, we tell these young players what they need to do to be successful at this level. But if they can show up every single day and actually see it from their peers, then it makes our job that much easier. So this group is, for the best leaders that I've been around, and they're not the only ones that are going to be leaders on this team with so many veterans. So we're in a great position right there, and I'm thrilled for them. Well deserved, and they're gonna lead us to a successful year, a fun year.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 fantastic leaders and four great ambassadors for this program. So we'll have Teagan and Marisa on the show coming up in matter moments. But during the meantime, thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing everyone at Folk Field on Wednesday when we take the pitch for the first time as a team.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Welcome back. We're joined by senior captains Teagan Jones, Marisa Bova. Ladies, thanks for joining us here on the show. First of all, Teagan, I'll ask you first. What did it mean when you were named one of the team captains?
Well, it's obviously a huge honor, but it's also a huge responsibility and privilege. We have a phenomenal team to lead, and we're going to have a great season this year. So it's just about leading the team through the highs and the lows, wins and the losses, and having that privilege and knowing that the team has the confidence in us to do that role is a huge honor.
Marisa, how about you?
For me, the last 3 years, the captains that we've had have set the standard for our team, and just, again, what Teagan said, helped us through the highs and the lows, and I want to be able to do that same thing for our team and live up to the legacy that they put on us. So.
You guys, we're back to a bit of a normal schedule this year after a weird spring schedule last year. You've had 1 week of training. What are your initial thoughts on not only individual but the team as a whole, how you've been playing with, I think you've had 9 practices in the last 5 days. What are your thoughts? Marisa, we'll start with you.
I think this past week has been amazing. Just seeing everybody back together, after a long period of time. It's been refreshing, the energy, it's buzzing, and it's been probably some of the most competitive practices I've ever had my time here at Purdue. So I'm really excited for the season ahead.
And Teagan, how about you? You're as a key part of the defense. You're playing right alongside or right in front of Marisa. What are your thoughts on how the practices have gone?
Yeah, I think they've gone really well. There's definitely a lot of excitement in the group and a lot of competition. I believe last year at this time, we were didn't even know if we were going to have a season. So just having that ahead of us and knowing that there's a game in a couple days and working towards that as a team has been so much fun, and having confidence that we're going to have a game and putting together a roster and who's going to come in when and what people's roles are has been really exciting to see people kind of flourish in whatever their role is.
And you're going to be able to put some of those pieces together on Wednesday when we play Milwaukee and then Marquette again on Saturday. What are you hoping to accomplish in terms of goals and see from the team? Obviously the result doesn't matter, but how you play for those 90 minutes. What are you hoping to accomplish, Teagan?
I think just figuring out our team flow and how everyone plays on the field, interacting with each other, kind of figuring out the gaps that we have. Obviously preseason is practices and we've been playing against ourselves, so seeing a fresh team with different ideas than the ones that we see every day in practice is definitely going to cause some problems, and it's about reacting to those on the field and kind of figuring out what we need to fix before the actual season and game start.
Marisa, how about you? You're going to finally have not teammates shooting against you. You're looking forward to that?
Yes. Well, hopefully our defense is. What I'm looking to see for our team is cohesiveness in the back and composure, and to use these 2 exhibition games as an opportunity to build confidence, not only in our defense but in our offense going forward for the rest of the season. So.
Yeah, the last couple of years has been a stifling Purdue defense, so hopefully that continues and you continue to not see a lot of opponent shots on goal.
That's right.
But, And of course, Teagan has been an integral part of that, along with one of your other captains, Maya Lambert. But we'll close today, as we've discussed a lot of times. This is a more normal year. And what's been your favorite part? It's just been a week, but favorite part about things being a little more back to normal. We're not quite there yet, but there's a season coming. We've been able to have some more time together as the 30 of you together. So what's been the takeaways from that?
Well, overall, something that really stands out to me, just having our whole team together, is like having team meals and just like being in the locker room. Like a year ago, we weren't even allowed in our locker room, and now we're able to just like be around each other more, and I feel like that's really important for our team chemistry.
I think it's just refreshing to have a normal season. This year, it's not so much about like the do's and the don'ts and like what you can and can't do. Like the focus is soccer and it's our team. It's not worrying about if you're going to quarantine in a week and stuff like that. And knowing we have games coming up that like our parents can come to and like we'll see our families and they'll get to be as much part of the game as we are. It's just really refreshing to have a normal year where you can focus on really what you need to focus on without being sidetracked by all these other smaller details.
That team chemistry has flown out over onto the practice field as well. So it's been fun to see the fun. You've definitely been having a lot of fun the last couple of days on the practice field as well. So Teagan, Marisa, thanks for joining us here. We look forward to seeing you and all of Boilermaker Nation at Folk Field this season, beginning Wednesday against Milwaukee.